Thank you, everybody. It's a new year, and it's perfect time for setting goals, right? But you know the problem? A lot of us at the end of the year will feel like this because we would have not accomplished what we wanted. Why is that? Well, it comes down to this. A goal without a plan is just a dream. Most of us will write down or think of goals, but we won't come up with a plan. We'll just come up with some hope that this will get done at some point. Well, I'm going to introduce to you today a technique for making goals that will help you accomplish your goals. And this is called the SMART method. And how many of you have heard of this before? Probably a few. So, SMART is an acronym. The S is for specific. Your goal, you need to know what it is and why you're doing it. And the M stands for measurable. So you need a way to gauge whether you are accomplishing that goal or not. A is for achievable. The goal needs to be realistic. Like if you are 500 pounds and you say you want to lose 400 pounds in a month, that's not realistic. It needs to be relevant. Is this goal important to you at this time? Because if it's not, you're not going to find motivation to do it. And it needs to be timely. You need to set a timetable for when you want to accomplish that goal. So I will give you an example of a goal that I accomplished in the past and how I did it. And this goal was to get out of debt. Now I needed to understand why I wanted to do this. And the reason was I wanted to have something in retirement when I retired. I wanted to be able to travel the world, and I wanted to be able to help people who are less fortunate than I am. Was this the right time? Is this relevant for me? At that time, yes, I was single and I had income to go towards that goal. And I wanted to do this before I started a family. And is this goal measurable? Yes, it is. Here's the breakdown of my debt when I got out of college. I had 10 grand in a car loan. I had two student loans. I had 5 grand in one loan and then 25 in the other, and I ended up having $40,000 out of college. So one way I would motivate myself in this is I would give myself a reward every time I achieve paying off one of those loans. So that way I'm not looking at all the way at the end far tunnel. I'm looking at smaller goals that I can accomplish. So that's one benefit of making it measurable, because you can segment it down to smaller goals. Was this goal in a good timetable? It was. Based off of what I was making at the time, I calculated that I could pay off my debt in 3 years. That would roughly be $13K a year at that time, which is 35% of my take home. That was stretching it for somebody who was coming out of college, who lived like a college student. I didn't want to live like a college student anymore, and this took some discipline, and I had to control myself, but in the end it was worth it. So, my challenge to you, or let me explain why it was important. At the time I didn't realize it as much as why, but if I had not gotten out of debt at that point, 5 years later, was it 5 years? 5 to 7 years later, was when I met my future wife. And we actually got to cash flow the whole wedding. Our parents were not in a position to help us. And if if it wasn't for that, we would have had the smallest wedding for anybody. We might have just went through the drive-thru or something. But we were able to, and on top of that, we had some minor setbacks, like our cars broke down and we had to get new cars, so we were able to have that money aside. And so it was good that I was able to accomplish this goal. And the way I did it was actually going through this method, the SMART goal method. So my challenge to everybody is don't just have goals that you have for this year, but actually come up with a plan for each of your goals and see if you are able to accomplish that goal or many of your goals this year. And I wish all of you luck, but follow this plan and it will work. And stay strong. And that's my speech.